Welcome back. We are here for The Between, Lilacs in the Dark, episode 17. All right, so we have some masks to be narrated, so whomever has their mask prepared. I know we have a Mask of Penance and Mask of the Pig up for narration. So whoever wants to start.
I have both. I have a quick question about one of our veils, I believe, harm to children. Is it okay if a child gets slapped and a dead child is referenced off screen with everyone?
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And I will do a Mask of Penance first. Each hunter narrates a flashback of a moment they begged someone for forgiveness only to be denied. Elinor is very young, maybe 6, dressed in gray with black ribbons, and hovering in the doorway of a sitting room. Her face is blotchy and tear-streaked. She has her hands cupped around something, and a younger woman ushers her forward. Ma'am? The nanny clears her throat, and the Lady Everly raises her gaze from her desk. She is dressed in deep mourning and elaborately done up, and she meets the nurse's eyes clearly annoyed, without even looking at Elinor. Yes? Elinor says, Mommy, gets a withering look and remembers her error. Mother, nurse says when you break something, you have to apologize to the person whose thing it is. Absently, the Lady Everly says, Fine, come here. Elinor rounds the corner of the desk and opens her hands, and you see a shattered locket and a mess that was once a woven locket of hair. A slap rings out, the locket hits the floor, and so does Elinor, knocked off her feet by the blow. Where did you even find that? Elinor begins to wail, apologizing and begging forgiveness in snotty and incomprehensible words, promising to fix it, promising something about wanting to see her big brother. That would be okay. The Lady Everly stands, looking coldly down at the crying child, and says in clipped tones, Is there no end to the ways you will ruin everything I have ever loved? And to the nurse, get her out of here. Do you want both of them or to alternate, Clint?
I'm okay. I'll go with my Mask of the Pig. Narrate a dream in which the pagan swine god Mok did Mok demand a sacrifice of riches, status, or blood? What did they each sacrifice? So this starts. Lady Ross Carter has taken a nap before the night phase, and the pig dream begins again with Lady Ross Carter on all fours, her sleeves rolled up, and she is rooting around in the mud. Her face is smeared with black muck, and she snorts around and she roots and squeals. Her hands tear at the mud. And she pulls up teeth and bones and other grossness. She doesn't remember how she got here, only that she must dig. As she routes around, Mock rises up behind her, a mountain of tusks and rotted breath, his skin covered with flies. And behind him, the girl appears with a lantern lit. She approaches Mock, and they smile at each other. Then they turn to Lady Ross Carter, and the girl says, Her. That's the one. She belongs in the mud. She is dead to me. And with that, a chorus of squeals start to erupt as Lady Ross Carter looks up to see a herd of swine running at her. And as she's trampled, she wakes up in a cold sweat.
I can do my Mask of Rock next. And the dream opens in a room full of books with burning walls and a viewing gallery filled with shadows. Elinor sits in an unburning desk trying to write, but her hands are gloved in blood to the wrists, and the pen keeps slipping out of her hand, and the words keep getting smeared. Next to her on the desk is another monograph, pristine, with her name listed fourth. Murmurs start up from the gallery. The room flickers through a couple different settings, the desk fading into a podium, a lab, an autopsy table, an alleyway, until it settles back on a desk. The walls are still on fire, but the crackling of the fire is starting to be replaced with murmurs, and it becomes clear Elinor is being watched by a gallery of her peers, who are all whispering to each other behind their hands, occasionally laughing and pointing. Elinor continues to write frantically, but blood starts to well up from the paper and cascade over the desk. You hear a low, dark chuckle as she looks up from the paper. She looks up not to see the same gallery, but a giant boar man, clutching a fistful of papers. He opens his hands and lets them flutter to the floor, blood stained beyond legibility. He smells like old blood, but his voice is almost a croon. You will never be given credit. You will never be remembered. All the knowledge you've tried to share will be discredited because you have only ever been a curiosity, a knife in a dress. You like the blood too much to have ever been anything but mine. Nellor knows in that moment that he is right. Nothing she does will gain recognition. Nothing she does will outlive her. She may have tried to dress it up in academia and helping people, but she has always been happiest with blood on her hands. She looks down from the god again to find her hands wrist deep in an abdominal cavity on a table, trying to stem the tidal wave of blood as it rushes out and begins to flood the room, and then looks up to see the face of the body is hers, and the body reaches up with a bloody hand to touch her face and says in Mock's voice, mine. And the papers float around her in the blood, and as they all begin to fill with red and sink, she wakes up.
I'll do my Mask of the Pig. So the dream opens, if this were a TV series, the viewers at home would basically see we are looking through Rose's eyes. It's nighttime, but there's a full moon. It's a desert, scrubby, scrubby grasses, a few cactuses we can see in the moonlight. Things are dark. It's not quite black and white, but it's not quite in color either. Things are low on the ground, and the camera is moved kind of like bouncing back and forth, slow to the ground, as we see like large cat paws like stepping forward. And it clearly hunkers down behind, like, kind of like half concealed by a bush, and waits. And a moment later, a piglet of a wild javelina, which is a southwestern wild peccary, walks by, like starts to walk by, just maybe 10 yards ahead. It's a pounce on top of the piglet, which squeals. It's predator pouncing and leaping on a kill of a prey animal, when suddenly there is a voice. A voice kind of calls out, and the camera looks up, and like looming over the scene is a giant hog looking down. It's got like a gold ring through its nose. It is black, except its eyes glow red. It looks down and says, "Little hunter, you've caught one of mine. I think I have caught you. I think I have caught you as well. What shall you give me to keep your? What shall you give of yourself to keep your prey?" Um, and I think we then see it's Rose. You know, it's Rose on all fours. With this like piglet stuck in, and you know, she's not wearing anything. She's got the now dead piglet in her mouth. Um, and she kind of like looks up in, she kind of like looks up in terror. Um, you know, drops it and is about to say something, and Rose bolts upright in bed in Hargrave House, gasping.
Ross Carter or Larrabee have Mask of the Penance right now, or are you waiting?
I think I might try to mix it in with the party if I may. I
Okay.
have an idea. I'll let you know.
Okay.
I'll do the Mask of Penance. Flashback. It's a tavern. Um, Again, American Southwest. It's a tavern. It's probably early evening. There obviously It's obviously there has been a brawl here. There's, tables overturned, there's broken chairs, there's um, several people that are, there's several people that are, like clutching wounds. One of whom is like two people are like over a third who's lying on the ground, who's obviously suffered a gunshot wound. Rose is there. She looks somewhat disheveled. She's missing her hat. She's clearly taken a few blows in the face. Her pistol's in her hand, and she's looking down at she's looking down at a dead man at her feet. Kneeling beside him is a woman who's probably maybe a little older than she is, and the woman's you know you know the woman is like trying to rouse the obviously dead man, crying. And she looks up at Rose and says, "Why did you do that? Why?" And Rose says, "I told him not to. I gave him every opportunity to back down, but he wouldn't." And she looks up and says, "Over a fucking card game? You killed him?" "He was cheating. That's what cheaters get," says Rose. And there's a bit of a slur to her words, as if she's been hitting the bourbon a bit. And and the woman looks up and says, I curse you to hell."
Before we go to night phase in earnest, I think the American owes us a quickening roll.
Yes. Let me check. Okay, the quickening.
Do you have any conditions on you?
I probably still have some. I had gash on right hand and forest for the trees. I don't remember the circumstances of either of those.
Because you were trying to commune with that
Oh, right. I was
plant
trying to.
in the church. Yeah. So let's see. Nah, I'm not gonna. I mean, nah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll just roll. I'm gonna roll with sensitivity. 2D plus 2. I don't think I've got anything. I think I've got anything else that's going to interfere with that, so I'm just going to roll it. 2D plus 2. Total roll. That's an 11.
Okay.
9 on the dice plus 2.
Alrighty. So with the 11, you.
So, yeah, I'll just read it. So, on a 10 plus, your body is stronger and faster, and you manage to keep the quickening in check. You roll with advantage when taking actions that use vitality until the next dawn phase.
Okay. Alrighty. Unfortunately, it's like, we're having a party, so unless you do something completely different from everybody else, then, I don't know if you're going to be doing anything very
I don't know
active.
if that's necessarily going to come into play, but, you never know.
Just saying.
Hey, it could be a dance contest.
So, I don't know.
Oh, and I did forget to mention, at the end of the last session I played, I did advance, and I'm just going to say I took the advancement. I took a playbook move. I now have the Awakened Soul. You are sensitive to the desires and behaviors of animals. When you encounter an animal, you may ask the keeper, "What does this animal want me to do?" The keeper will answer truthfully and completely. When you act on the answer or pursue a course of action which an intuitive understanding of an animal's behavior would be helpful, any associated rolls are taken with advantage. I will note that there is no roll associated with this move.
Okay. So basically, you're just asking questions.
I can ask a question. What does this animal want me to do? You will tell me, and if I follow that advice, I can take advantage.
Got it. Okay. Doctor, you need to take Ghoulish if you're going to bring Shaky Mary to the party.
Sure, seems like fun. I don't really have a good understanding of what this party is going to be, so I figure why not?
And remind me whose party, what was the circumstances of this party we're going to?
Lady Ross Carter just seems to want to throw a party.
Oh, it's a party. It's a party at Hargrave House. Okay, cool.
Yes.
We're throwing a party, Rose, to put ourselves out there, don't you think? We spend so much time out in the world. It's time we brought them here.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Feeling a little lazy tonight. I don't want to go out. I want to stay in.
People to come to you.
Yes. I snap my fingers.
And I think, like, that's where the snap will, like, cut to a scene where Mr. Thistle brings in all of, like, beautiful bouquets and flower arrangements that will go into the the foyer as well as the halls, and just give like such a unique decoration and like sense to Hargrave House. Not as musty or as dark as it usually is, but yeah. So, um, and I think Sir Stuart will probably come soon afterwards. He's dressed in his brocade, and he has his date. His date is quite interesting looking. So if let's see, hold on, I gotta look at Sir Stuart's description. Sir Stuart, okay.
Well, I'm glad he brought his date. I hope he didn't neglect to bring the quartet with him. The string quartet, that is.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Well, of course I did. What do you think?
Last time you forgot.
No, I mean.
3 pieces does not necessitate a quartet. You need 4.
That was so. In, uh, mm.
A violin, 2 violins, a viola, and a cello.
Fine. I was missing a violin because they said they were sick. Can't help that. Anyway. This is Byron, Lady Roscarter.
Byron, you say?
Byron, yes.
I hold out my hand to shake.
And Byron is dressed in like a loose but fine linens and silks, and he will bow over your hand very gracefully and graciously. He's got his hair like in a finely coiffed, and he's very handsome, and yeah, he's.
Would this dress seem out of the ordinary to me, or is it more common?
What do you mean?
Like,
Oh,
the way he's dressed, does this seem like more eccentric, or is it common for this time, or is he sticking out a little bit?
checking.
Okay.
No, I think he's within the period. Like
Okay.
he's not dressed eccentrically. No,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, basically, do you know that Sir Stuart will make sure that his escorts are properly,
Sure. I was just,
tricked out.
just this is Clint asking because the way you described it, I don't know if that would stick out in a crowd at this time or if that would kind of blend in.
Right. Not just blend in. I mean, like he's just like for a party like of this stature, then like he'll you know
Yep. He's
get dressed up.
appropriately dressed.
Yes,
Gotcha.
absolutely. And all of the wines are the proper temperature and chilling, or like just
We've
again.
set up some space over here on the table for the refreshments. We have
Yes,
chairs set up over here for the quartet,
yes,
and the guest will be arriving shortly.
wonderful,
But I'm
absolutely
sure you
wonderful.
know all this.
Yes, I do. I mean, some of them were actually a little puzzled why they were specifically invited. The people from the cathedral were quite surprised, as was I.
Well,
Did
must we have clear reasons to get to know people better? Like, clearly, Lady Ross Carter has her reasons, but she's not going to bore Stuart with these.
I know that you probably have some scheme afoot or something that you're thinking will benefit you in the long run, so I will not question anything that you decide upon, including your guest list.
Anything that benefits me ultimately will benefit you, so I don't know what the doctor and Rose are up to right now. I sent them to their rooms to change because they were looking rather uh, pedestrian. So
Well,
we'll
can't
see
have
what
that, of
we'll see how
course.
they show up later.
Yes. Um, I thought it was interesting that you had sent an invitation to Pemberton Potts. She's
Well,
no longer a member of the REC.
well, as you look around, you'll see many non-members of the REC.
Oh, oh, all right, all right. Again, far be it for me to question, but again, since you and I know her from before, I
Yes,
just...
we do. And I would like you to keep an eye on her tonight, if you will.
Ah, oh,
Just, if you notice anything strange.
oh, mm, mm, uh-huh, mm, hmm, strange.
Yes, I'm going to leave it at that. Strange.
I see. All right. Well, I will just make sure that all of the edibles and refreshments are out as they should be. And come, Byron, we shall make sure that everything is ready for the guests.
Have
Ah,
fun, Byron.
just bows. He knows to keep his beautiful mouth shut. So, what are the what what are the doctor and Larrabee getting dressed into for this party?
I feel like the doctor would have really tried to press on Lady Ross Carter what Lady Ross Carter wanted her to wear. I don't know if Lady Ross Carter was helpful, but
I think
Dr.
I think
Whitford certainly tried.
I think the biggest thing is she didn't want Rose showing up in a poncho. But, you can't really dictate what Rose is going to show up in.
Yeah, Rose is not going to show up in a poncho. She is going to show up dressed in it's it's cut actually really well for her because she apparently paid a tailor for it. Paid a tailor to have it cut well. She's showing up in like a Western American style like men's business suit, complete with bolo tie and a bowler hat, which would not be unusual. I mean, she's like, and she's got. I think she's got her hair kind of like tied back in a. She's got her hair tied back in a ponytail. She's actually, she looks pretty good. I mean, if in a kind of a gender bending kind of sense, but yeah, she's dressed in a men's business suit with a bolo tie. I think it's probably a dark gray, it's like a dark gray jacket, trousers with suspenders. She does, she's got like a big silver bolo tie with like a big, like with a big turquoise stone on it. She's still wearing her snakeskin boots under her, like not concealed in any way, but she's wearing her gun belts around her waist and pistol on each hip. But no, she's not showing up in her she's not showing up in the straw hat and poncho.
Well, that's good.
But no instruction for Dr. Whitford.
I don't know. What do you think she would roll in as? I mean, just because
Um,
just because Lady Ross Carter asked you to dress up doesn't mean you're.
I got sent to my room to dress up. I feel like you must have an opinion. Um, I think Hargrave House, like vaguely magically presented me with something from a previous hunter that is actually extremely well fitted, um, but sort of mousy gray and about 4 years out of style. So I look dressy, I look appropriate. I actually look pretty good, just in a very like wallflower color and a slightly antiquated gown.
I think when Sir Stuart, like, sees Rose, sees Larrabee come down, it's like contemplates her for a minute. Not bad. If I recall correctly, she was wearing that blanket on her, wasn't she?
Yes,
Yes.
Not a blanket.
she tends to go out in public like that.
You can't hear. You can't hear. He's
Oh,
like
I can't hear that.
he's talking to Lady Ross Carter. Well,
But she's dressed up nicely, so I'm not
yes,
going to complain.
I'm Yes, I mean, much improved from uh, the bedclothes. Yes. And then when he sees um, Dr. Whitford, I think he's going to bring out his little, what the hell do we call them? The little opera glasses on the
Uh-huh.
stick. Yeah, just kind of like looks closely. Is that is that from 4 seasons ago? Oh, goodness.
I mean, she's pulling it off fairly well. So,
It fits well. Yes, it fits well. Fits well. And then, but oh goodness, it's a bit out of trend. It's oh,
maybe
and then
there's like this moment where, like, when we first see her come down, there's like a slow motion shot, and we're like shots of both of us being like, "What? Yeah,
mm,
yeah." And I
you couldn't
say,
have you couldn't have sent it to, I don't know, like one of your dressmakers for at least
we were trying
something.
to pull this off quickly. Doctor, you look fabulous tonight. Please come join us.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. And then Byron will actually speak up from behind Sir Stewart and say, "You look quite lovely."
Thank you.
And then people start coming in, like you hear the. Do you hire like help?
Oh
People.
yeah, for tonight there's a valet. There's
Hmm.
people on the door. There's probably someone pouring drinks and a
Hmm.
couple of people walking around with trays of hors d'oeuvres,
Okay,
finger foods, etc.
got it. Yeah, you make it down, and then people start coming in. So I think, pardon, one of the first people that comes in is Shaky Mary. um, and she will tentatively, like tell the doorman that, she's with you, Dr. Whitford, and she's dressed quite plainly, but suitable, but not, of course, you know, up to like ballroom standards or whatever, but it's fine, right? So she's your guest and it's all cool. You might have seen her before, Lady Ross Carter, so I mean, like, it's not a big thing. Um, Sir Stewart might murmur something, but you
I'd like to say, stop it, Stuart, stop it.
fine. Okay,
You're a guest.
fine. And he just like slaps that smile on his face. Um, so Shaky Mare comes in first, and then like it's with Byron. Okay, and then it's Deacon and Father O'Donnell come in together. Um, and Father O'Donnell looks quite hesitant. He's like, "I'm not quite sure why a party. Unusual for us to be invited to such a thing, but it's quite pleasant to feel as if we are part of um, a social event. Yes."
I head over and I say, "Welcome, welcome, guest. Please come, sit, have some food, have some
Thank you.
drink." I'm sorry, Father. Do you drink?
Uh,
I can get some. Yeah.
uh, I could I could do with a bit of watered down uh, drink. I mean, of course, cannot you know go cannot imbibe too much, cannot indulge. Of
Totally
course.
understandable. So I think I snap my finger and I call over the one of the hostess to take a drink order.
Yes. And then
Oh,
like,
please have
like
a seat.
I mean, like, he'll settle down, and like Edgar Timble will, like, kind of attend to him, because he's a younger man and such, and like, will help the hostess with whatever Father O'Donnell needs. Um and then let's see, Dr. Clauser will come by himself. You haven't seen him in quite some time, of course. But yeah, I mean, he comes suited up. Um It's like maybe a step down from actual ballroom wear, necessarily. I mean, but it is a fine suit that he is wearing. He bows, like, and when he comes in and is very, very gracious, and he will come up to you, Lady Rosscarcher, and say, "I appreciate this invitation to your party.
So even though I clearly invited this guy, I'm not warm to him.
Hmm.
And I say, well, it's nice to see you, Doctor. Please feel free to have a seat and feel free to engage with the guest. We will have everyone here momentarily. Do you need anything?
No, I mean, and he says he starts to like, deny needing anything, and then he kind of like starts because he sees Rose like, off to the side. Uh, Who is that?
And I look over at Rose. Ah, that's Mrs. Larrabee. You should go talk to her. And I say, Rose, come here. And then, like, the second Rose starts to engage, I turn around and
Yeah,
I walk right away.
exactly. I forget what that maneuver is, but it's brilliant.
Front seat,
Absolutely
back
brilliant.
seat.
Yep, yep,
So
yep.
Rose has a, double old-fashioned glass in her hand. Um, Dr. Clauser, been a while. How you doing?
I I am fine. Miss Larrabee, yes?
You can call me Rose.
All right. Rose, I was just struck by your resemblance to my bodyguard, Erica.
Hmm.
Yes.
Out of character. Have I? Is
Yes.
Erica? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
In
Yes.
the
Right.
alley.
Yep, yep, yep. Right.
Yep.
Forgot about that.
Yep. But yeah, I
She
mean,
does have quite. She does have quite the style.
yes, as do you, which is why I had commented on it. But um, I was quite surprised to be invited, like I said, to this social event.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really have much to do with the guest list, but let that to. And I nod. I nod toward Lady Ross Carter. I'll kind of leave that to the experts.
And I think like, who comes in next is like Marie Litton from the Ranelagh Chapel. I mean, like, she of course comes in by herself, and she's got it's more theatrical, of course, because she's like the manager and stuff like that of like their production like over there when it was there. So she kind of like has like a dress that is like finely made, but like it has like a like the what is it, the very thin and sheer like tulle or something like that. So it's like they call it illusion. And it's kind of like draped, like almost like Grecian like on her, like over her dress, to make it look like a lot nicer than it really would be if it was just by itself. And yeah, she will come over and she sees you, Larrabee, and then she'll come over and yeah, greet you.
Yeah. Like I think Rose kind of lights up when she sees Marie come in. Like, I'm so glad you made it.
I, I am so glad to have been invited. It was quite surprised. It seemed to have come out of nowhere, but I'm always glad to come to a social event. Yes.
So glad you're here. Here. She makes a quick introduction to Dr. Clauser and
Uh,
says,
Nice to meet you.
here, let me show you around. And she like raises her glass to Dr. Clauser and basically I think she puts her arm around Marie and starts you know, and starts introducing her to other people that she knows.
Gotcha, gotcha. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, this is everybody that's there. So, Dr. Clauser, Edgar Timble, and Father O'Donnell, Sir Stewart and Byron, of course, and Marie Litton and Shaky Mary. So, that's who's there right now. Um, yeah, so, and let's head over to the Hargrave House. Let's see. Paint the scene. This is the ballroom, of course. This ballroom has gone unused for years, since a fete held for a delegation of Fae ended in turmoil. During their furious exit, the Fae marked this ballroom as anathema, tainted ground on which no Fae would tread. Which of these marks can the hunters perceive marring the space? Jim has written, because Jim is unable to come until later, has written, while the punch bowl appears empty from a distance, if one actually stands over it and peers into it from above, the image of a bloated, blood-red gibbous moon is reflected in its concave interior. What else do you perceive?
This ballroom is built acoustically perfect in that there's 2 points where if one person's talking, the person on the other side of the room can hear them perfectly.
And remember, just like an unseen, it's like, feel free and try to grab an echo in the night, always try to go for that XP.
Think that there is a mural or a scene painted high on the wall that is appropriately pastoral when looked at directly. And then if your eyes sort of, you catch it out of the corner of your eyes, it's a deep sea scene of like jagged teeth and sharks and monsters, underwater monsters.
The wallpaper in this room has kind of like a floral or a garden print. I'm thinking it's probably, it's probably, kind of like a darker blue on a lighter blue pattern, and it's very, I mean, it's very nice wallpaper. But in the shadows, when you glance at the wallpaper near any of the windows and doors, the you don't notice it at first, but when you look at the wallpaper, the vines almost seem to move and like twine around each other. The leaves seem almost sharp. Gee, I guess someone must have spilt a little wine on the wall because there almost seems to be blood drops. You look away like, oh no, I must have been imagining it.
I'm going to treat this like the unseen. And because King in Shadows is in play, there is a special rule. While you're here in the ballroom and perceiving these marring marks, how does reality subtly distort in the background?
All the sounds that would be heard are playing in reverse reverb, so we hear a up before the sound starts. So there's always a lead up to everything.
I think where the mural is incorporates a couple skylights, whether or not that's period appropriate. And sometimes the skylights show what would be a continuation of the mural. So instead of the London sky, it is deep sea monsters, but just for a second.
Every once in a while, um, you know, when you kind of like look when, someone glances in the background, we see someone who shouldn't be there. Dressed all, they're dressed all in black, and they were clearly, it almost looked like they were like moving props around, like getting ready for the next scene. I was tempted to say every once in a while we see a boom mic, but that was a little too anachronistic.
Hmm. You're wandering around and you have all these guests. Sir Stewart is helping you out since he loves a party and he's got Byron on on his arm. So yeah, I mean he's making himself quite delightful even for the people that he would normally consider below him. But it's fine because he's amusing. What are you three doing while these people are circulating around?
Stationed myself between Edgar Timble and Father O'Donnell. Perhaps I've gone over and I've kind of done one of these shoe moves to Edgar to get him to scoot over a chair so I can sit down next to Father.
Oh, okay.
Or if they're on a couch, I just kind of push myself in
Oh,
between
sure.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. On the settee. And I think Father O'Donnell will. I want to say that he was walking with a cane, perhaps. And while he has his hands on his little cane, and he's looking out at everyone, it's like quite the varied company that you have here, Lady Roscarter.
Oh,
Uh,
I find it so boring when everyone is kind of the same. if everyone's in the same class or similar circles, it all just gets so boring, don't you think, Father?
Well, that's one of the benefits of serving the church, the cathedral. I get to see all sorts, all classes, all types of people that come in and want to have solace in their prayers and their
Exactly.
faith.
Isn't, yeah, very much, I believe, your Jesus has talks about everyone communing with many different people, yes?
Yes, 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 indeed. Gatherings of people communicating and even with possible disagreements, finding a way to come together.
Speaking of communications, and I'm going to start like launching into like asking them questions about their current predicament
Hmm.
and how they would try to communicate with such entities, or if he's tried to, you know, reach out to the spirits that are there.
Oh, uh,
I would
uh,
do it much more eloquently than what Clint just said.
yeah, I think he's kind of like he tries to think about it, and it's like he's never considered it actual communicating with the higher powers. It's more of a like kind of an internal reassurance of doing good and doing what is said
Uh-huh.
in the good book kind of thing. And he's a little puzzled when you kind of put it in such a way of how talking to, you mean the thing that's like kind of wandering
Yes.
around and had
Have
killed the one person. And of course when that gets mentioned, Edgar gets set to his jaw. He doesn't
So
say anything.
I, Dr. Whitford, feel very protective of Edward and have tried to make eye contact in like a, if you need to escape, you should like make your excuses and come.
I think he does, because once they start talking about the death of his friend, his lover, I
Right.
think that's where he's like he sees your look, Dr. Whitford, and he comes over immediately, or makes his murmurs
Right.
excuse and then comes over to you.
Well, I'm trying, yeah. So before we go too far away, I do want to get on the table that I'm trying to ask the father if he's like, you know, what he knows about this demon, if he's tried to communicate with this demon or been told not, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, information move, please,
Yeah.
with reason.
Alrighty. Yeah, we'll just go flat with this. Actually,
Yeah, sorry,
he's
Clint, not trying to like pull focus, just trying to
no,
get
no, 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 no.
the sad boy out of
No,
your
no, you're
circle.
Sad
good. You're
boy.
good. Uh, I was just making sure we did. Reason is two. Total got an 8.
Okay. And how he has, if he's tried to communicate with the thing, the
Have you seen this demon?
I mean, like he kind of shudders, in his seat as he's thinking about it. I honestly, I'd only heard the rumors, and then in finishing up in the evenings, I have seen, well, shadows. In and when I look fully, they're gone, and I think maybe perhaps I am aging eyes and I'm not seeing things correctly, but it does give one atavistic shiver up
Well,
one's
shadows
spine.
can be very deceiving and elusive. It's all based on perspective, would it not be?
Yes, yes, and that's why, I mean, it could be something from flickering from the candlelight or something I'm imagining, of course. But in terms of communication, it's strange that you say that. Not me personally, that communicating, as you are saying, but I had heard um, through the walls at certain times, which I been random. I've heard muffled echoes of enthusiastic prayer.
And through the walls there, that's impressive. Those are quite thick walls, yes?
Yes, yes, indeed, and again, perhaps my perception is going. I'm not sure, but yes, obviously someone is trying to commune in some way, and they're using faith, enthusiastic faith, by doing so. And that is your clue. Muffled
Excellent.
echoes of enthusiastic prayer heard through the walls.
I say never give up your belief in your abilities. Like don't question it. Just
It always comes down to faith, doesn't it? And let's cut over to Larrabee with Marie. Where do you bring Marie to show her stuff in Hargrave House?
Oh, I mean, I think we're kind of, I think we're still in the. I think for at least for now, I think we're like we're still in the ballroom. I think there, I imagine like along the sides there are, there are some like, fancy chairs with, I think kind of like in a corner.
Mhm.
There's a couple of fancy chairs that are kind of like perpendicular to each other, and there's like a square like end table between them. And I think the two of them are just kind of chatting again, like each of them like um, I think Marie's got like a champagne glass in her hand, and um, Rose is probably on her, she's probably on her second or perhaps third bourbon, and and they're chatting, and I think at one point like Marie finishes her champagne, and Rose, almost uncharacteristically as you would imagine, um, she like notices one of the hired servants that's coming by with like, glasses of champagne on a tray. She just kind of like snaps her fingers, and and the servant, and the servant and the servant comes over, and the servant comes over, and I think Marie just like takes another glass and hands the servant the hands the serving girl the like the empty glass. And I think in the exchange the servant accidentally drops the glass, and it like shatters on the ground. Um and at that, you know Rose just like like jumps up and like helps the servant like clean it up a little bit. Um
She's incredibly apologetic. She's like, I'm
oh,
so sorry. I
it
did not mean
don't
to
worry
do
about
that.
it. Don't worry about it. It happened. It happens. Don't you worry about it.
I'm so sorry. And then she will, she'll help you like pick things up and then put them away, like in a safely in
Like
a
we
rag
find,
or something.
we find like a dustpan to like, like
Hmm.
maybe
Hmm.
another servant comes by with a dustpan and
Yes,
brushes up the glass,
yes.
and then she goes away, and that's when like Rose turned like, well, where was I? Oh, right. So, and that's when he realized that I was riding his horse, and then they both burst into laughter, concluding the that's clearly the punchline of a Shaggy Dog story that she'd been telling, and and they and I think that seems to disarm Marie, and she laughs.
Is there anything
So
specific you want to ask her?
I was actually like, yeah, mechanically. So let's see. I'm looking at, she's probably the King in Shadows person.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask her if, yeah, I think I'm just gonna ask her if she's heard anything new about, if she either remembered anything she hadn't told me before about the last production of the King in Shadows at her production, or if she's heard any new rumors. So I guess I would attempt an information move here. I'd like to go with presence if that's okay.
Okay.
Information move with presence, 2d6 plus 1, just for the heck of it. Let me just see if I've got any items that would help me in this conversation. I don't think so, but you never know. Yeah, I'm just going to roll it. That's a 7.
Anything new that she has found? All right, let's see something.
I know this play is making a bit of a sensation, at least among certain corners of the London art scene.
Right. Exactly. And it's funny that you've asked about anything new or strange found. I had been going back to the stage where they had produced the play, and well, there was also construction done to the chapel as well, as you saw. They found... It was so odd. They found a costume crown, which by itself should not have been disturbing, except... And she gets a shudder when she mentions this, Rose. The costume crown was dripping with blood and black ichor.
Oh, that sounds disturbing.
Yes.
What a and at that she leans in and says, "You want to talk about that place? That maybe a little place, a little. Want to talk about that more? Maybe a little less noisy."
It was definitely disturbing for certain. Um,
That's got to be horribly upsetting. And I think at that Rose gets up and I think Rose gets up and says, "Yeah, let's take this conversation someplace. It's a little. Let's take this conversation someplace a little. I don't know, quieter."
and she will, she kind of does that shudder thing, and as you, help her up, she kind of, looks up at you, strangely, and says, and leans in and says, "That's not your line." And we're going to cut over to the doctor. Dr. Whitford, you are with Edgar and Shaky Mary.
We are all holding up a wall.
Nice. Whitford, Shaky Mary, and Edgar. I must say, Dr. Whitford, it's rather nice to be outside of the cathedral, as of course, things have been, as you know, strange since the incidents.
I think I will introduce, Edward or Edgar?
Edgar.
Edgar. I think we'll introduce Edgar and Mary and say, you can speak freely around Mary. I don't know if they've met at church or something else, but I can only imagine. Have you not been getting out?
It's not that. I mean, it's not like I would go to such an event in these kinds of surroundings in general. And normally I would go with company. Not that Father O'Donnell isn't company, but
No,
you know. You know.
Yes.
I miss him.
Tell me something about him. Like, I could either roll an information move or just get a sweet story, whichever.
I mean, he'll roll out a sweet story about, something that they've done, that they have in common, how they got together and such. But you're welcome to make an information move, stemming from something that he said or something having to do with when they met in the cathedral. So
Sure. I'm also, for what it's worth, trying to get both Shaky Mary and Edgar to eat just as many hors d'oeuvres as possible.
Oh, sure. No. They're as they're talking. I mean, they're
Right.
eating and drinking, as things come round. So, of course they're doing so. But yeah. Let's see, cathedral. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and roll. Because it's not like you're trying to influence him per se. I mean, maybe it's reason because it's something out of his story, or when he's talking with Shaky Mary, maybe you pick out a detail that you're kind of honing in on. That
I think, yeah.
Yeah, it's a reason.
9.
9. Okay. Oh man. Okay. So contextualize this any way you like. I think it's hilariously funny because I didn't know that this was one of the clues. But yeah, this is the clue. A story shared about two side characters' affairs. So basically, it's like Edgar talking about, him and uh, the Wesley, him and Wesley together. So you can contextualize that any way you like. So
Excellent.
yeah, so
I
that
don't
was
know
easy.
why, but that's shockingly pleasing.
Yeah, no, I mean it's just like an almost wholesome. So, yeah, I mean, and I think for your nine, give me a second, and it's a sweet story, and just kind of like you know, like it puts a smile on his face, whereas before you saw him like being extremely sad, and as you're listening to this, it's like maybe it puts a smile on your face, or you're like pleasantly surprised, and Shaky Mary's also like listening intently, and like also pleased and everything like this, because it's sweet, whatever. And then all of a sudden you hear around you, oh, bravo, bravo! It's coming from nowhere in particular.
I will make eye contact to see if anyone, either of my conversational companions or anyone else in the area, is seeming to hear this noise.
No, just you.
Great.
Yeah. So, second Hargrave House prompt. The night of the fete, some years ago, the Fae have their own arcane etiquette, elaborate and alien. How does young Maricat Ovelia, servant of Hargrave House, transgress against Fae propriety in the execution of her duties? Mike, please tell us how.
So Maricat is, I think um, I think she's got a silver platter that's full of, I think she's carrying around a silver platter of drinks, and she's carrying it around, just kind of like walking around, and the custom is to just like casually walk around, and if someone wants a drink, they'll just help themselves. At least that they'll just help themselves to a glass off of the tray. That apparently is not the custom for the Fae. The servant is supposed to come up to them, not make eye contact, formally gesture as offer before, um, and formally gesture to the drinks, uh, for the guest to take it. If the servant does not gesture, it is considered improper to take. And so she's been walking around the Fae several times without, no one has told her this, because perhaps the hunters didn't know this either. Um, until finally, she walked past the same Fae, like, perhaps for the third time, and, didn't. And at that, the Fae like turns to her and says, "Such insolence!" and knocks the tray out of the servant's hands, and all the glasses like smash on the floor, um, and says, "Insolent whelp! Has no one taught you manners?" And as the face said that, it's sort of like, in that echoey chamber, in that like echo chamber, so that the words had power. And she was then compelled to get down on her hands and knees and pick up each individual piece of glass with her hands, um, pick up each individual piece of glass with her hands, but she couldn't stop even after she cut herself several times until all of the glass was picked up.
I think after a suitable interval, and like you guys have made your you know uh, first parlay into conversation, I think you hear the jangling of the bell, and then this is where the doorman will open up the door, and it's Maglasang escorting Mrs. Pemberton Potts into the house. And yeah, I mean, like, she's greeting people. She she will greet some of the people that she doesn't necessarily know them, but I mean, like, of course, like, the middle class people, like she'll like, greet as if they're old friends, um, so fairly effusively. And she kind of like just lets her eyes gloss, like, like pass over Sir Stuart and Byron. And he doesn't know what to make of that. So if you get near him, because he looks puzzled, like, when you look at him, Lady Ross Carter is like, and he just kind of like starts murmuring to Byron,
And
and he,
I go over to them and I say, "Have you pissed off Pemberton Potts lately?"
not that I know of, I've not seen her since she quit the club.
Hmm.
Goodness, uh, she passed. She. I mean, he's so indignant he can't even speak. And Byron's
I,
actually like patting his arm and just, it's all right, sir. It's all right.
hmm. Well, I don't worry about it. It's just Rose Pemberton Potts. She's not worth getting upset about. Can I do my mask of penance right now?
Sure.
So it says each hunter narrates a flashback to a moment they begged someone for forgiveness only to be denied.
Okay.
This takes place in Ross Carter's early teenage years. She is part of the Juniors Explorers Club, and they meet in a wood paneled room in the back of the school building. Portraits of dead men line the wall, like Columbus and De Soto and Polo. You know, those guys. Men who had crossed deserts and seas and who had forged rivers and never once really asked permission to do any of these things. We see a young Rosamond Ross Carter sitting at a large oak table before the committee of other students her age. Her hands are folded neatly on top of the table, her spine is straight up, and her chin is lifted high. These other boys, they read the charges aloud to her: unauthorized expedition, falsified faculty signatures, a breach of protocol, and bad data. She tried logic at first. She explained her plans, her theories, and defended her data. She spoke of methodology, of results. She spoke that it was that this was the lecture, that it was her diligent work might outweigh sorry that her diligent work might outweigh any of the disobedience she has pursued. Her arguments did not hold water. She begs and pleads for them to reconsider, but the boys on the other side of the table didn't give her a second thought. She has been suspended from the Junior Explorers Club. With a low voice, she asked them to reconsider. She said it must have been a mistake, that she understands her mistakes, and she even used the word sorry. She begged to them that she, not loudly, not overly dramatic, but once more, just quiet and precise, could you please let me stay in the club? Only to hear the door behind her creak open, and you hear another student's voice: Mundy, you heard the council. Come on, dear. And we see Ross Carter just roll her eyes as she pushes the chair back. So then we cut back into the current party and we see Ross Carter just saying, don't worry about her. She's got ulterior motives that we don't always know about.
And that kind of puts a little smile on Sir Stuart's face. And, oh, you mean like you?
Yes. And like you, and I do a little boop on his nose.
Hmm.
And I turn around and I say, ah, Rose, dear, thank you for coming to our little soiree.
Oh, I wouldn't miss it. I apologize for my lateness. I had to,
You had to be
pardon.
fashionably late? Yes, we know. Well, please come on in. Have a seat. You know Stuart. If you need anything, please go to him. Uh, we have
Yes.
we have Rose Larrabee over there. We have the doctor over there. We have all kinds of guests. Please come on in.
Ah, yes, yes. I appreciate the variance, the variety that you've gathered here today, Monday. I mean, not your usual crowd, I see. I'm pleased.
Well, I'm sure you know none of them, and it would be nice for you to meet some more people. You
Indeed.
know, it's nice to meet people outside of the Explorers Club, outside of our normal station.
And she kind of gives you a deliberate look of,
Yes, it is. Wonderful.
and then she'll kind of alight her eyes on Dr. Clauser and say,
There are some people familiar.
You know the doctor?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I'm familiar with his work.
how so?
Ah, well, there are many stories of what he has done back in his home country. Of course, anything from the hypnotherapeutic methods, along with some of the carnival barker stories of just hypnosis with parlor tricks, but honestly, the proof is in the pudding, as I like to say, and, well, results matter.
What results have you seen? You seem skeptical. I'm curious of what your experience has been.
With Dr.
I'm
Clauser, or just in general for...
hypnotherapy, different forms of science.
she smiles a little wider. And would you like to make an information roll on the
Would
mastermind?
I? Of course. Yeah, I think
Presence is not going to work here. I'm going to say composure.
sure. Which is cool. And I think she notices that I have on this old rose brooch that was given to me by her
Hmm.
many years ago, so to get it some advantage on this roll.
Okay.
So that's going to be d6 plus 2, and I'm going to take the higher of 2 rolls.
Hmm.
Got a 9.
Okay.
I'm glad I did that. I hope.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. All right, with a 9, let's see what you get. So you're asking her about what kind of results she's seen and all
I'm
that.
asking her about her experience with anything like like cognitive science,
Mm.
et cetera, any
Yeah.
sort of yeah,
Okay, cool. All right.
neurology. I
Mm-hmm,
don't know if we know that word at the time, but
yeah, I mean, psychology. I think
psychology,
it's
neurology.
like or psychiatry or whatever. I think it's
Isn't
just
wasn't it called like alienism or something like
yes, it's
Yeah,
that?
alienist. Alienist. That's
when
what
did
he's called.
Freud show up? Around
Yeah,
this time,
like
probably.
later. I think later. Let
Okay.
me see what I've given you guys so far. It's always the worst. It's like, what have I given so far? Don't remember. Since I don't want to lose where I am in looking at this mastermind clue list,
We can come
do
back.
you have either the cosmic passage or
Oh,
the darkened threshold marked?
I have the darkened threshold. Yes.
Okay. Let me see.
Results are seen through experimentation and through data gleaned by a, what do they call it? An appropriate amount of testing, I would imagine.
Yes.
And
Experimentation.
yes, Yes, for certain. And, well, if there have been certain experiments that have happened that will indicate success or even failure. Failure can also be an indicator for how the experiment will run.
And I think as she says this, I imagine that Hargrave House has some sort of mirror, like in the ballroom, you know?
Of course. There's like
Yes.
probably a whole wall of mirrors.
Yeah. So basically, like, as she says this, you look into the mirrored surface and you see your reflection looking much older, much more drawn, and it looks like branches are growing in the background behind you, threatening to overwhelm you and dig into you from behind.
Very
So
cool.
that is your clue. Give me a second. I'm going to pop it in there. And you'll just have to fix all the weird spacing because of PDFs.
Yeah, go ahead and do it. I'll fix it while you
There you go.
do it. Okay.
Yeah, so that's your clue. And let's zip over to Larrabee. Larrabee. Yeah, you had that very strange look on Marie's face and what she said. And then she kind of comes back to herself and then kind of shudders and thinks about that costume crown. And she actually says that. She says,
Yes, that costume crown was quite disturbing. Where are we going?
as if she hadn't said what she said.
Hmm. Okay, I will. Yeah, like Bill. There's this place has a lot of nooks and crannies. Why don't we find a little place that's I don't know, a little more private, so we can discuss this in confidence. Yeah, I think Rose ushers Marie out of the ballroom. Like, and I think to a smaller room, like I think to like a smaller drawing room for now at least.
Okay.
That I think it's a drawing room, and I think it's got one of those like I think it's got one of those globes that you can like slide, you can like flip open, and there's like a small bar in there.
My parents had one. So, yeah. Um,
So I think we'll go in there, and can I get you another drink?
I don't think so. I think I'm fine for now. Are you sure that you want some more? I mean, it seems like you've been, imbibing quite a lot.
She closes Rose closes that, like, just trying to be just trying to be polite. I think I've had enough drink for one night.
and she just nods.
But yes, the, it was, it was so disturbing that I had to call the, call Scotland Yard. It was, yes, they took it away. They took the crown away, and, I don't, yes, it's been strange ever since.
I think think like I think I think Rose takes I think she takes her I think she takes her takes like, I think she like takes hold of both of her hands and says, that has to have been terrifying.
It was almost as if the crown itself had bled, or released these fluids, and yes, it was quite disturbing.
Uh, we've seen we've seen very strange things, but I think I like to think that you're in good hands right now. She and I think she like squeezes her hands just a little tighter when she says that.
I'm so sorry that I didn't think to uh, have it have the crown brought to you. Oh,
Oh, it's
and
okay. Shh, don't have to apologize. That sounds like you've had quite a fright. I'm really glad you were able to come by.
yes, again, I'm so pleased that I received the invitation. I am not exactly sure why I'm here, but
Oh,
again,
you're here. You're here because I kind of wanted to see you again.
that's very nice.
I think at that, like Rose kind of like I hope this isn't. I think like Rose brushes some of her brushes some of her hair and then says and then like stops and says, "Hope that wasn't too forward."
No, no, it's fine.
I just want to go back to that strangeness from before, and I want to like put down your condition as not your line.
Hmm, love it.
Yeah. Let's cut over to the doctor. Uh, so Dr. Whitford, it's like, he told you the story, and it's quite interesting. Like, it seems very tied into what's going on with the gargoyle over at St. Cecilia's. So, I don't know if you want to question anything else um, regarding this. And I think, like as you're contemplating or you're processing like his story, and Mary's like also like thinking, and of course you all just heard the applause. I think like Mary will lean in, and the applause has died down, and she'll lean in and say,
Just so you know, Mum, Harley's looking for that part that you asked for.
I can always rely on Harley,
Yes.
but do you mention it for some particular reason?
No, I just wanted to reassure you that we're doing our job.
I
I,
pat Mary on the hand and say, I have perfect faith that you are. You have never let me down. Thank you for coming tonight. This is uncomfortable. It is nice to have a known figure here.
uncomfortable in what way, Mum?
I will just let my gaze sort of sweep across the room to every single person here.
Well, it is fine company, of course, but I mean, I'm glad to at least be, somebody that you're familiar with. Although, I mean, what about the people that you work with, that are here in the house with you? I mean, you're familiar with them?
I don't believe one becomes familiar with Lady Ross Carter, but
True.
um, they are, yes, they are compatriots. Pursuing their own agendas this evening, let's say. I mean, we all are, but I don't know. I think Elinor's gaze like goes across the room and sees Lady Ross Carter. I think, oh my God, that's even better.
where'd he come from? Or is it Byron?
Or is it a wrestler that you
Oh,
managed
maybe
to
that's it.
shove into a
Yeah,
dice?
it's a wrestler. Okay, gotcha. Um,
Um,
so a wrestler has come, has is dancing with Lady Ross Carter. I love it. Okay.
I don't know what to ask Edgar at the moment.
I'll switch over to Jack if you need a moment to think about it.
That'd be great.
Okay. So Jack, the Hargrave House is hosting to a party. So yeah, we've got Dr. Clauser from the Old Order of Azure Eyes here. We've got Edgar Timble and Father O'Donnell from St. Cecilia's Gargoyle here. We've got Sir Stewart, who is helping to create this party with his date Byron. Marie Lytton from King in Shadows, and of course, Dr. Whitford is accompanied by Shaky Mary. And Mrs. Pemberton Potts and Maglasang are also here in attendance. So,
Oh, and and Larrabee and Marie Lytton had been in here, but The two of them the two of them have walked out of the ballroom.
Where do you think that you have come from? And do you think that you are dressed up in any way?
I am dressed in a jacket that is probably like 40 years out of date, something like that, because I found it in a closet
Yep.
somewhere in Hargrave House. Like
Yes.
I borrowed and I like it's got a, the tie is kind of hastily tied and stuff like this and everything. But like I am, it was clear to me that I needed to actually like I did like put on a jacket. And I think I've, whatever, trimmed my mustache and beard and stuff like this a little bit and everything. I look as presentable as Jack is inclined to put in the effort to look. But I think that because the last time Miss Pemberton Potts and I were she fed me cake the last time I was there. And I, kind of waxed rhapsodic about this, like, kind of exotic, liqueur infused coffee thing that I had tried for the first time and found to be amazing. So, I spent some time before the party tracking that down wherever in London one might get whatever like proto tiramisu you could find at this time in the Victorian era. And I like Miss Pemberton Potts because she's totally aware of what my deal is, and she's neither intimidated by it, nor does she seem to have any particular designs on it. And those, or is like, like she's not asking me a bunch of, like she doesn't try to get me to do not asking me like deep metaphysical questions and stuff like this, with the understanding that she's almost certainly, she and her goals might not necessarily align with those of Hargrave House. I find I am, thus far I have found her company agreeable, and so I think I just kind of be hanging out with her, chit chatting.
Awesome. I mean, like, and she's glad to see you, and then she's like, "Oh, Jack, how wonderful to see you." She'll actually hold out both of her hands for you to take them and such. Um, and she'll just be very glad to see you. And then like out of the corner of your eye where you don't even probably care, but like Sir Stuart looks absolutely scandalized with the outfit that you're wearing, because it is so far out of date and so haphazard that he's just like, "Oh, can't believe. I mean, I thought it was enough that Dr. Whitford was 4 years out of trend, but oh my, that's just terrific." And Byron has to give him some soothing pats on the back. "It's all right, sir. It's all right." And
And I'm also more than a little curious about her stories, of when she and Mumsy, what does she call
Mundi.
Mundi? Stories about her and Mundi. I'm genuinely curious about that. And will whatever, ply her with extra cake, or if there's some particular thing in the wine cellar that we haven't brought out but that she might like to try, I'm happy to slip down there and procure it for her.
maybe she tells you a particularly juicy story about how Mundy is not the straight-laced proper lady that you see or you have seen before you. I mean, like, she had a wild streak, and she was one for the expeditions, and that's where she had gained a lot of her notoriety, or no, excuse me. She'll literally say that. It's like,
Notoriety. No, excuse me. I did not mean that. No, no, no. There are mountain peaks, of course, named after her. And I am quite proud of my friend, regardless of how she feels about me.
Uh, Ladies in the Explorers Club need to do everything that the men can do, but in heels and dresses. So, uh, I admire her pluck.
Yes, pluck indeed. Ah, but, yes, you have to prove yourself almost thrice as much as the men do.
And so I can't help but notice that it seems as if the two of you had some sort of falling out. Was there some incident? Was it simply that your lives took you in to different corners of the globe, or
Roll an information move,
yeah, sure.
please. Hmm. Composure or presence? Hmm. What do you think is appropriate? You know you're trying to get information out of her, but are you doing it in a kind of like sneaky sort of way, or are you like, because you have
I
a
don't
rapport with her?
I don't think I'm being sneaky. I'm not particularly I like to think I'm not particularly complicated in that regard.
Okay.
I tend to go at problems fairly directly because I'm not worried about like consequences mean a different thing to me than they do to most people.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'll do presents. That's fine.
Okay.
I'm
Go for it.
I'm I'm not terribly charming, so that's um let me see if there's a personal quarters thing here that I can use to try and
Hmm.
oh, I'm gonna mark my origami kit
Okay.
because while we are talking, I'm putting together some kind of I'm making something that I think she would find charming, that she would
Okay.
appreciate.
Okay.
You know what? Maybe like one of these. She's like a big botanist. Like flowers are her thing, right?
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, so I'm making some kind of origami, like a lily or something like that, or
Oh,
yeah.
she'd love that.
So yeah,
Yes.
all right. Got advantage, but it's -1. So let's see how we do here. Thanks for your patience.
No.
One, two, three, -1. Um, Two highest dice. You know what? I checked I marked the wrong thing.
Okay.
Keep the highest two, but I
Got it.
did the DX thing instead. But that's not okay.
Got it.
Still a 9.
Yep. No, it's a seven. Oh, oh, that's right. It's advantage because it's well 7 or 9. They're the same result.
Yeah.
So
Same result.
yeah,
So you get an answer from her. So like, what's the deal, right? What happened to the two of them? Let's see. Oh, did I give that one to you already? Let's see.
I'm happy to wait a little bit if you want to take a moment to cogitate on it and move away from us to someone else.
It's always a matter of like trying to pick out
Yeah,
the clue that fits in the thing.
sure.
Let me go think about this. I owe you one of the mastermind clues. Let's go to the next.
And did we want to complicate that somehow because of the 7 and 9 or
Um, yes, I think I actually this may actually be the way that you get the mastermind clue. As a matter of fact, I think her face changes. I think like where you saw it very open and smiling at you. I think when you start asking about like her and her relationship to Mundy, like what happened with those two, I think maybe you start to see her shudder down,
yeah.
and then Maglasang will take you by the elbow, like he'll come out of nowhere and say, Jack, perhaps you'd like to uh, try this particular refreshment over here, and he'll like kind of steer you by the elbow over by the drink table.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I start to her, see that she's shut down and like, okay, all right.
Yeah, and then like you'll end up talking with him after we do the third
Sure. Yeah.
the Hargrave House thing. So, Clint, the Fae take Maricat with them to serve in the Feathered Abbey, but part of her remains behind as a promise that one day all will be restored. Which of Maricat's body parts, still full of life, do the hunters keep here? How is it stored and protected?
So I don't know if all the hunters know this. Perhaps a few of them do. Definitely some in the past have known. Uh, in the ballroom, over in the corner, there is a portrait painted of Maricat. Uh, and she's sitting up proper, and something that most people don't notice are the eyes are alive, and they look and they move back and forth, and they are judgmental about some people they are glowing for, some people they roll their eyes at, but they are embedded into the paint somehow, and they live there waiting for, as it says, all will be restored.
Amazing. After you are, trying to reassure Marie, Larrabee, what are you doing in the small drawing room?
Me take a look at our safety tab for just a sec. Trying to break the tension a little bit, or at least some of the tension. Um, you know, Rose says, "So, I used to be in, I was very recently in showbiz myself. Ever tell you that?"
I think you had mentioned it.
Yeah, yeah. I got a couple of post. I've got a couple of posters of got a couple of posters of that. You know, that I've kept upstairs. Yeah. Would you like to see those?
Certainly. I mean, I think I think this would be a wonderful opportunity to see more of this beautiful house. Um, I've never been in in here before. Uh,
All right then. So I think what's going to happen is I think I think I think Rose is going to give I think Rose is going to give her just a little tour of the highlights of the house, and then ultimately like get to her and like we'll say like and you know and these are mine and like just show her some of the like the more interesting and like prettier prettier rooms of the house that are in public, and just kind of like go on a little bit until eventually she'll get to her own chambers and saying, well, and this is where I've been staying, and I've got some posters in there that I'd love to show you. You want to come in?
Certainly. I mean,
She's. I was hoping you'd say that, and yeah. So I think she's. So yes, I think she's going to take her into her room to to show her some etchings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gotcha. All right. Dr. Whitford, did you figure out what you wanted to ask Edgar?
I think I want to ask him what's been going on at the cathedral since last we spoke. Like, have there been any more disturbances or notable things since we were last there? Or has anyone said anything weird to him?
Why don't you go ahead and like he related the story and yeah, I mean like now you're asking more pointed questions about like what's been going on at the cathedral itself, so you can go ahead and roll an information move.
Let me... Apologies, I should have checked my... I'll roll with that.
Reason.
Okay. So let me see if there's anything I'd use for Vantage, but I feel like I should have already done that. So I just roll. Oof, 7.
Strange times, witch dice. Okay. All right, so Ferd 7. So any strange things that have happened since last you spoke? Let's see. What does he say? Yes. It was the caretaker in the catacombs. He'd found a strange basin, and it was full of ica, but it was smelling of pine and rose. It was odd.
I will say that is an odd combination. I have not encountered that. Have you married?
No, Mum. I mean, you, if it's not prepared properly, then yes, there might be some fluids, but no, I've never heard of an actual basin filled with ica that smells relatively pleasant. No, no.
I mean, I wasn't expecting you to have heard of a basin full. More that combination of scents seemed unfamiliar. But
Unfamiliar. Yes, that's exactly what I would say, Mum.
I think for your trouble for asking about this, I think you will, at the mention of this, what you're seeing, like perhaps maybe your eyes wander over to the windows where like maybe the curtains are parted a little bit and you're like looking out into the night sky. You see nothing. You don't see any stars, no moon, no clouds, nothing but inky dark.
did
I
you
think
see Elinor register that and just sort of like, yeah, that's today.
I think that's your condition is nothing but the dark. Jack, Maglasang steers you over to the drink table, and he will like just kind of under cover of giving you like a different drink, perhaps, like for whatever you were drinking, like he gives you something different. He'll say, I'm sorry for taking you away, but I gather that any mention of their former acquaintance sets her on edge. I'm
Yes,
not
I noticed that.
I'm not sure why. I I have a suspicion, but I don't know what it means.
Do you care to share it?
Yes, what it is that I'd found this in a secured place by accident in her home. As you know, we are her wards, and we do services for her as well as care for the house and maintain. And I had found an engagement ring that was only to be described as too large for her tiny fingers. And she discovered me handling it, and she was not pleased.
I cannot help but notice that she is uh, unmarried.
Correct. Although
Has she always been unmarried?
she was married. Her first husband, well, yes, her first husband had passed away, and
Ah, I did not realize that she was the widow Pemberton Potts.
yes, that's why she retains Mrs. But she was supposed to have been married 5 years ago.
Ah, again. Uh, did that prospective groom come to some grisly end, or was it called off for some unfortunate reason?
He
You
was
can't take me this far down the path and then hesitate, man.
he went on an expedition with his friends, Jack. They returned. He didn't.
Hmm. Hmm. And was he a member of the Royal Explorers Society as she was?
Yes.
Hmm. How intriguing.
Yes.
Uh, you seem uh are are you worried about some sort of repercussions from having fiddled with her jewelry?
She cannot be too angry if I have no idea of what it means. I can only make
Which you
guesses.
do not. And I can assure you, I say, and I stepped up to him and I kind of throw an arm around his shoulder and sort of bring him in a little conspiratorially. And I say, I am sure that she has instructed you to make sure that we are entertained and probably that you don't let us out of your sight so that you can keep track of what we're doing.
It is one of my functions, yes.
Since you are tasked with that, I propose to you that you may as well enjoy yourself while doing so.
Oh, I have to wonder whether any of my family has ever met anyone like you, Jack, or met you.
It, I regret to say, it is entirely possible that they have. Unfortunately, I have met so many people that my memory of individuals is somewhat porous.
Yes, I understand.
So, in order for people to stick in my memory, they need to, and I kind of like take two fingers and I sort of tap them on the chest, make an impression. Are you up to the challenge?
In answer to that, he will, you know, bring up his hand. Like, you know, if you still have your arm around him and you
Mm-hmm.
like are kind of conspiratorially in the
Yep.
corner, he will, I think, he will make a gesture with his hand, and inside his hand you'll see like a little glowing orb. I am of a family of sorcerers, Jack.
Ah, that is exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. Do you, uh, uh, I, I don't know. I mean, how do you have something interesting beyond like parlor tricks like that? Can you read my fortune or something like that?
I can do many things, but I do not pretend to see the future. Mine is more of a energy-based arcane skill. I am of a legacy.
We have a room here in Hargrave House um, that had some sort of fairy nonsense happen in it. And there's a punch bowl in that room with uh, a very unusual feature. Perhaps you could explain to me what is going on with it.
I could try and take a look. Um,
Very well.
so
Do you need, are there sorceress accoutrements that you need? Do we need to procure a wand or a top hat or a crystal ball?
you may have me mixed up with a magician, which ancient ones maybe, but I am not of that sort.
Ah,
Let us see this bowl of yours. And
and I will like, like grab a whatever, like a decanter of brandy and a couple of snifters
mhm.
and It's up the stairs and to the left, and lead him off to the, our Fey haunted ballroom, or I think it's a ballroom, right? Is that what we?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Yes,
you're in
yeah.
the ballroom now as it is, though. I mean, like,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
so then all we need to do is over there on that table where we don't have any food, there's this weird punch bowl, and that's why there's no food on that table. Let's
right.
go over and take a look at it. Maybe you can explain to me what's going on with it.
Right, exactly. So, sorry about for not touching upon you, like Lady Ross Carter, but I'm going to go straight to the fourth prompt. But like, I will mention that Lady Ross Carter has been dancing with big hunks of men that have been seemingly coming out of nowhere. So this is great.
I say good for Lady Ross Carter.
Exactly, absolutely.
I imagine there's a line of them just waiting for their
Oh,
turn.
sure. No, absolutely, for sure, absolutely. This is the woman that has turned down many a marriage proposal. So yeah, um, there we go. All right, so fourth prompt. All right, Kim. Tonight, a contingent of Fae return Maricat, transformed by her time among them. As her body part is reattached to her new form, how does Maricat speak of her time away, and of the hunter whose memory gave her the strength to endure until her return?
I think the Fae lead a much older woman who has no eyes, just white orbs, into the ballroom. And I think they probably just pluck her eyes out and switch them with a portrait. Like, very matter of factly. And I think Maricat screams for a while as she's sort of assimilating everything that the eyes have seen for however long she's been gone all at once. And then she asks for Roger and talks a little bit about how she always kept Roger in her heart and she knew they'd be reunited one day. And she can't wait to see him. And then there are like three other people, other hunters here who all look really awkwardly at each other. And then, I'm sorry, Maricat, we lost Roger 2 years ago. And she just collapses.
So how do we think that the party wraps up for each person? Larrabee have a good time like showing etchings?
Larrabee had a really good time showing etchings. I think I think, in the in the network television version of this show, I think we do see there's a brief scene in her room where the two of them are in bed, and there's one point where, like Rose looks up, and Marie looks down and notices that Rose's eyes are amber and have you know like sort of like cat-like pupils. At that, at that, Rose smiles, makes an almost makes an almost feral growl, and then goes back to what she was doing.
Okey-doke.
I think Lady Ross Carter has the appearance of having too much to drink. And I think there's a moment where when Pemberton Potts gets ready to leave, perhaps she walks out the door. We see Lady Ross Carter kind of stumble out the back door, and we see her like pop up, kind of like I've dropped the drunk act, and she like circles around the house, and she slowly like we see her slowly stalking Pemberton Potts back to her house, just kind of ducking between houses as she's watching. She knows she's up to something.
Mm-hmm.
I think if Jack and Maglasang continue to be like off in a corner doing their own thing, Elinor will go turn to Mary and go, I didn't realize we were allowed to leave. Good night. And just leaves. She'll
Perhaps
probably say goodbye to Edgar and Mary, but That's
Yeah.
it.
Yes. I mean, perhaps like she'll say it's like,
Well, if you want to go, Mum, it's like we can see what Harley's been up to.
Certainly. That seems like a great deal more fun. I will meet you at the back door in, say, 7 minutes.
you know,
Good luck, Edgar. I'm sure I will see you again.
it was lovely, and yes, I hope that you all can figure out what is going on at St. Cecilia's and stop it before someone else.
As do I.
Yeah. Thank you again, and he will.
Stay safe.
Yes, and I will do my best to keep Father O'Donnell safe as well. He takes his duties seriously, and I worry that he may get caught out by this thing, whatever it is.
He is lucky to have such, a devoted
Beacon.
deacon.
And Jack and Maglasang?
Oh, like now that I know that it's like his remit is to kind of hang around and make sure he keeps an eye on me and keeps me entertained, we're just gonna, like I'm just gonna like tie one on, just just kind of like not like binge drink, but just kind of steadily knocking them back, cognac, go get a couple of fancy bottles of wine, whatever, like take out the good scotch, stuff like this, and just, you know, whatever. Just like, drinking, smoking cigars, like having him tell me things about sorcery that may or may not be true. And we're gonna get into a thing I think where like everything he tells me about sorcery, I tell him some crazy story from my immensely long life. And, the inference is that part of the fun is to figure out whether we're just completely full of crap as we're, getting increasingly drunk and ridiculous and, whatever. And this is and we're both like falling asleep in armchairs in the library at like as the sun is coming up kind of thing.
I mean, he will tell you, like, when he looks into the punch bowl, he will say, like, in a almost maudlin memory, like, he'll say, it's like, as he has a drink in his hand, by the way, he'll
Yeah.
say, and yes, I've seen that bloated, blood-red gibbous moon when I was home in my own forest before things happened, and what that meant was
Oh,
bad
my
tidings.
friend. And I thought my tale was lugubrious. Like
What is
let's
this, Swill? This
let's
is
return. I am told that this is the finest scotch from whatever, Lachlan and whatever brothers. I don't know. I don't like as a player. I don't know anything about that stuff, but you know, um, uh, 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 it's sorry. You know what? I asked Mrs. McGarity what the most expensive bottle was, and she pointed to this one. I have no idea as to the merits that make it the most expensive. It does taste rather like um, someone has mixed turpentine with dirt.
that sounds extremely descriptive. Yes. Yes. Absolutely. And he's just like kind of blinking. And we're gonna fade out of that to get into the day, into the dawn. All right, let's look at the things. I'm not even gonna go over it individually because honestly, it's like, we're just gonna do this thing to make it quick. I apologize for keeping you a little bit over. So, hunters, Did you answer a question? Yes, last time. Yes. Did you resolve a threat?
I wasn't here
No.
last time. Should I take that
Yes,
anyway? Or
yes,
oh, okay,
yes,
cool.
yes. You did not resolve a threat tonight. Did you experience an echo in the night? If you think you did, you did. I'm not even going to worry about it. It's fine. All right. And then, like, if you marked off any of your dawn questions, please add any of the check marks to your advancement track. Then clear your dawn questions and then change your elective dawn questions if you so choose. Okay. I'm not even going to ask you, like, whether you did it or not, because if you think you did it, you did it. So there you go. To cut to the quick on this, I'm going to do this quick history reveal as a stinger before I see if you guys want to leave off with some stars and wishes. So we fade from dawn as the revelry ends, and dawn fades, but just before daylight reaches through the sky, I think we fade into a dark forest that is almost inky black because the canopy is hidden, the canopy is hiding the night sky. It's almost as if the forest is trapping whatever is in here. And Rose's entire expedition, except for her original factotum, is strung up in the trees or pierced through by branches in the clearing surrounding a single crystal globe. Her factotum shouts for Rose to run before he is swallowed up by the forest's darkness. Rose is enthralled by the scene illuminated in the globe as she watches each of Sir Thomas's companions leaving him for dead after making desperate promises to the forest for their survival.
So, what do you want me to promise so I may survive?
She whispers. The answer is not heard, but a cold smile appears on her lips as the globe's light disappears. And, if you have time, stars and wishes.
I actually need to go pick Shannon up at the train station. She's coming back from her business trip. So I'm going to tap out, but I always thank you for letting me join late like I did. It's a great hour. I wish I could be here for more of it, but I'll see y'all once we get back in the new year.
Okay.
Have a great night, everybody. Thanks a
Have
lot.
a great night. Thanks. All right.
I'll run through a couple of quick ones.
Yeah, go ahead.
The line, "I'm happiest with blood on her hands," was fantastic from your mask. And Mike, your attack scene in your mask was really fun and evocative. And Mads, the bit where Jack gave lilies to Rose, or not to Rose, they were being delivered via someone, I don't remember, but you were like, "Oh, she'd love that." Like you just, like, she was so excited about the lilies. So that was fantastic. So those are my three for y'all. Wishes, no particular ones.
Okay. Fair. All right.
Clint's mask of pendants, she even used the word sorry, and the nose booping. I think you've nose booped someone else once before, and it was amazing. Mike Rose's version of dressing up was also very nice. Everything about Jack's and Magdalene's scene, the whole "you can't take me this far down the path." I realize Jim's not here to hear the star, but that was hysterical. Wishes. Yeah, I think I'd like more time with hunters, or more time with Rose and or Jack. I think I've gotten to spend a little time with Lady Russ Carter, but yeah, other than that, I want to play with some bodies.
Yeah, stars all around. This is a fun like the party episode. I really enjoyed that. Um, yeah, thank you for letting me actually fulfill my thanks to Mads for like indulging me and letting me answer the Dawn question. Um, did you have a raw, passionate sexual encounter in which your feral nature manifested? And on top of that, I've kind of like thought that Rose has been, kind of infatuated with Marie for a while, so that was kind of cool. Let's see. Also, I want to echo Kim's star to Jim for that whole scene. That was just super cool. I know Jim's not here to see this, although, maybe he may watch the recording. We'll find out. I think and I just want to give a star to everyone for their for those masks that we started at the beginning. Those were fantastic. Star to Clint for the like every time we see we see Lady Fuss Carter like dancing with yet another like hunky young man. Like, where did he come from? Wait, where did he come from? Wait, where did he come from? I love that. Oh, and star to Kim for that line at the end. Like, wait, you mean I could have left whenever I wanted? That was awesome. As for wishes, I don't think I have any specific wishes. Just see where this goes.
Really cute episode today. I mean, like, you guys had the opportunity to talk, get in trouble. It was mostly talk and just get lots of conditions. So interested to see like a regular London night phase, like, get you guys out and about and to get into more trouble. So we'll see what happens like in the day phase. My stars were already mentioned. I mean, like, the masks were incredible. So I mean, like, right there, it was like a big fat star for everybody. And then just dealing with, like, whomever you came up with. I mean, like, that was pretty cool. Again, I'm glad that you did what you did, Mike, because I mean, I'm happy to provide the opportunity. You guys just have to tell me and then, like, kind of hint at what you want to get done, and I'm happy to provide. So, yeah, I mean, like, if you need to do a Dawn question, sure, why not? Yeah, yeah, and honestly, I mean, I honestly don't have any true wishes. I mean, like, I just want to make sure that I get all the reveals done in a timely fashion, so this way I think the next reveal is done. I think after that you guys can pretty much answer the mastermind question anytime you wish. And if you miss, you go to the assault. If you get it right, you go to the confrontation. That's it. I mean, like, that's all she wrote. And to heck with anything else that's happening, like, in terms of the threats. You don't have to finish everything before you get to the end. It's based on the idea that shit's gonna happen, but the mastermind's gonna go against you, and you're gonna go against the mastermind, and whatever the aftermath is, that's season 2. if you end up having a season 2 or whatever. But yeah, whoever's left would deal with what remains. So yeah, I mean, great session today, folks. I mean, like, get back to business. I know people got a lot of conditions, so people got to get talking to the others. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful holiday for this break. We will reconvene in the new year. I'll put in the chat like some of the dates, like, where we'll possibly start up again, and hopefully we'll get people together. If there's any problems with the scheduling or whatever, just like throw it into the chat. But again, I wish you all happy holidays, happy gaming, and I will see you in the new year, unless I see you for something else, before then. So
Take
thanks,
care, all.
guys.